Hi, my name is David Musselman. I'm a divorce mediator with Common Ground Mediation. If you're watching this video right now, either you called our office and spoke with myself or one of our staff and scheduled this consultation, or you may be the spouse of that individual and you received an email or a text or a phone call telling you to show up to this consultation. I found after having done this for 23 years that if you happen to be the spouse of that individual, sometimes you may have a little bit of anxiety because maybe you haven't yet spoken with anybody at our office, and divorce is a stressful enough time in your life, and wondering what this individual is going to do and what is going to happen in this consultation can sometimes be a little bit nerve-wracking, and I certainly want to make sure that if you're that individual, that hopefully this video will provide a little bit of comfort to you to let you know what will happen and what you can expect. It's important for you to know that the mediator does not work for either of you separately, but will be working for you both together. The mediator is trained in family law, but also is trained in conflict resolution and will be a third-party neutral. The mediator is there to ensure that you have a safe environment where you are going to have a voice in the process. The mediator is not going to use this consultation as an opportunity to reach any agreement on anything, but just to make sure you feel comfortable with the mediator, as well as you feel like there is a chemistry there. And you can be assured that if you go forward with the mediation, that you won't be required to sign anything until you feel completely comfortable with your agreement. That consultation, you won't be signing anything. That is going to be strictly for informational purposes, for you to feel comfortable and understand a little bit more about how mediation works. So the first part of this consultation is actually going to be two consultations wrapped up into one. We have an initial consultation, which is called an orientation, and that's where I meet with both of you. I explain in detail what mediation is. In the state of Utah, you're required by law to have a mediator, so I'm going to make sure that you understand what the role of the mediator is, the advantages of selecting a mediator and selecting to go through mediation early on in the process, whether or not to use attorneys, the advantages and disadvantages of having an attorney in a mediation. I'll give you an idea of what the timelines are going to be for cases, and then answer any questions you have about myself and my credentials and my experience, or about the mediation process in general. After we've concluded that normally takes about 30 minutes, we will have a follow-up consultation, which is called a case evaluation. And that's going to be where I will meet with each of you for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to ask some specific questions. I'm going to allow you to ask me some questions. And I'm going to I want each of you to be able to talk and not feel like you have to sanitize any of your responses because you're worried that you might offend somebody. And then also feel free to ask me any questions and know that you can do that in an environment that's confidential. At the conclusion of that, then I'll give you kind of an overall idea of what the trend of the court would be on a case like yours. And then I bring you both together and give you kind of a combined summarized version of that. By then, I will have a much better idea of what topics we're going to be dealing with, the areas that are going to be perhaps more difficult, the areas that won't be difficult. I'll be able to have an idea of what the homework list is going to be like that I'll be giving you. And I'll give you even a more concise idea of how long it's going to take at that point in time, and an idea of what the cost will be as well. That will be a consultation that we will not attempt to reach any agreements on. You don't need to come prepared with anything. It's mainly to ensure that there's a chemistry between you and the mediator, and also to just educate you about what your options are. Ideally, you will leave our office with less stress than you came with. Our goal throughout this entire process is to make it as quick as possible, to make it as fair as possible, to make it as affordable as possible. Divorce is not a fun event in anybody's life. However, we can simplify the process a lot, and if you will follow the process that we use at Common Ground and the experienced mediators that we have here, I think that both of you will be pleasantly surprised at how much less expensive it can be, how much less time it can take. Most divorces are finished in less than 30 days, and even the most difficult ones are oftentimes finished for less than $3,000. We get many divorces done for $800 or $900. We'll talk more about that when we get together, and you'll have a better idea of what we're going to have to do in order to make sure that we get this done correctly. Hopefully that gives you an understanding of what you can expect when you come to our office. And if you have any questions, usually it's a good idea for you to write those down, and we'll make sure that we answer those questions at that time. Look forward to meeting you both. Thanks a lot.